A very good morning to everybody from Team Mojo Story. The wait is finally over. This has been the second longest election in the history of India. The only other election campaign that was as spread out was the very first general election that took place in India in the 1950s. And I think the one thing that all of us can agree on is that now we want to cross to the finish line. I'm Barkha Dutt. You're with the Mojo Story. A very, very warm welcome to our special Counting Day programming. So many of you have been with us through this entire campaign. This is a high stakes election. Prime Minister Modi is looking to equal Jawaharlal Nehru's record with a historic third term, and that is what the exit polls are projecting. But in a worrying development, some might say, the opposition parties have rejected the exit polls and have in fact issued open letters to their workers to remain vigilant and be present at the district headquarters in all of their areas. There is talk that the Congress and the opposition could be exploring demonstrations if there is a mismatch between their own internal expectations and what the final results are. We hope this morning that we will not see the unprecedented situation of election denialism, but let's see how the day develops and let's see, in fact, what the final numbers are at the end of this day. In fact, we won't have to wait till the end of this day. In the next 2 or 3 hours, we should know who will be the next prime minister, how many seats will he have, what kind of government might that look like, where does that leave the opposition? For the opposition, which has put up a spirited battle, this has been a hard-fought election. There are going to be existential questions if there is no significant improvement, in particular for the Congress from 2019. The Election Commission has been in the crosshairs of the opposition, and in fact, early this morning, we have seen some protests at the Congress headquarters against EVMs. So there's all of that to watch out for. But in the meantime, we are looking at a situation where the exit polls have projected a very, very comfortable and in some cases a landslide victory for the NDA, and Rahul Gandhi, among other opposition leaders, has rubbished those exit polls. Now, as I've been saying for the last 45 days, we've been traveling across India. And before we get into the data and the politics, because soon we'll be swamped by that, I want to talk a little bit about our journey, about what we have been seeing in the last many weeks. You know, there's been so much talk about whether this was a wave election or not. Our journey began in Kanyakumari, where the Prime Minister went to meditate at the end of the election campaign. And we traveled by road from Kanyakumari to Kashmir. We covered about 12,000 kilometers, reported from 12 states, multiple parliamentary constituencies. And so many people asked me, though that's Kashmir, where our journey eventually ended. And so many people asked me, what did you see? How many numbers are you forecasting? Kaun jeetega? Ab ki baar 400 par ki kitne par? Well, all I can say is I'm a reporter. I'm not in the business of punditry. I have now understood the Indian voter's mind is far too wise and far too complex to be able to predict. Even the exit polls reveal how in so many states like Andhra and Odisha, at least going by the exit polls, and even in other states, Karnataka, for example, Telangana, there are often split verdicts. The very wise and nuanced Indian voter is able to make one set of choices for her state elections and quite another set of choices for the national election. So no punditry in that sense from me. Once the leads start coming in, I will share my own impressions. I did ask many voters what's one thing you like best about the Modi government and one thing you'd like to see them change. And we can talk about all of that later. But I want to say thank you to all of you for being part of this journey. Also, some of you who have tuned in this morning haven't subscribed to us, are not Mojo members. So it's my request that please do be part of our community. Do press the bell icon if you haven't subscribed. Do become a Mojo member if you haven't become a Mojo member yet. Let me welcome now to the program early this morning, Dr. Karthikeya Batra. He's going to be with us through the day today, helping us make sense of the numbers, the leads as they come in. I also want to share that while we have, of course, covered assembly elections before at the Mojo Story, and I have covered more general elections than I can count in my 30 years of being a journalist. This is the first general election that we are reporting as a digital media startup. We are only 4 years old, so it's a very special day for us. I hope all of you will wish us lots of luck and you'll forgive us some of our mistakes that we may make inadvertently. So thank you in advance for your indulgence. Dr. Karthike Batra, newly minted Dr. Karthike Batra, congratulations on that PhD and good morning. Before we start looking at the big trends, the big patterns, because the leads will only come in about 25 minutes from now, any thoughts, any broad thoughts? We're looking at Prime Minister Modi potentially becoming the first Prime Minister after Jawaharlal Nehru to secure a historic third term, Karthik. So any big thoughts as we wait for the first leads to come in?
First of all, thank you, Barkha, for that very kind introduction. I think indeed it will essentially mean that the BJP has, if those results that the exit polls are predicting do fructify, what you will see, Barkha, is that the BJP will have decisively broken out of the mold of being a North Western party or the party of the Brahman Banya or the party that certain sections, apart from the religious minorities, were averse to. So that will be, and a large part of the credit for that will go to the Prime Minister himself. And I think that at the end of the day, if the verdict does go one-sided towards the BJP, the Prime Minister's own credibility, people may like him, people may not like him, but a large section of the voters who vote for him essentially find him to be a very credible face despite his deficiencies. And I'm sure you will reflect on that when you talk about your own travels. I think for the Congress, it seems like they will improve their tally. Now, that would mean that the glass would still be 3/4 empty, but 1/4 full. And then we'll have to see how things churn within the Congress. The only thing that I see is that they probably have an easy fall guy this time in the former Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge. So we'll see how those things pan out. What that means for Mr. Rahul Gandhi, what that means for Ms. Priyanka Gandhi. The next thing is that I think if the results from Odisha and Bengal fructify, then that says something about the future of unaligned regional parties in national elections.
Yeah. Well, Bengal is, just sorry to interrupt you there. Bengal is going to be the big one. And I want to start by playing out something that I found very intriguing. It was one of the Prime Minister's interviews to ANI. And he made this is before the exit polls. It's important to note. He actually said Bengal was going to be the BJP's best performance. I want to play out that clip for our audience. Take a look.
इस बार पूरे हिंदुस्तान में द बेस्ट परफॉर्मिंग स्टेट कोई होगा तो पश्चिम बंगाल होने वाला है। भारतीय जनता पार्टी को सर्वाधिक सफलता पश्चिम बंगाल में मिल रही है और पश्चिम बंगाल का चुनाव एक तरफा है।
पश्चिम बंगाल का चुनाव एक तरफा होने वाला है, Karthik. That's what the Prime Minister said. And in many ways, if the exit polls are correct, and of course, Mamata Banerjee's party is rejecting them, the opposition is rejecting them, then the East and the South, if the exit polls are correct, are going to be the story of this election.
See, that's true, Barkha. And as I said, that, if the results from the East do fructify, and I think the opening in the South may still be very narrow, but it seems
but if they hold on to Karnataka, if they gain in Telangana, if they open their account in Kerala, then in some ways, Modi's investment of personal political capital in the southern states is going to be much talked about. And the BJP, I'll give you something that Satyapal Jain, a very senior BJP leader, said to me. He said, if the exit polls do mirror, or if the results do mirror the exit polls, he said, "Hum sach mein Bharatiya Janata Party ban jayenge."
That's what I said in my opening remark, basically, that they will have essentially smashed geographical restrictions that are usually imposed on them. But I think what I meant in the South was Tamil Nadu and Kerala, which have not been traditional BJP states. I think the opening there is narrow, but I think what will happen is that in Telangana and Karnataka, as you said, Karnataka, the BJP might be holding. Telangana is going to expand, it seems. Andhra is going to expand because of the alliance, it seems. So Odisha and Bengal will be the big stories from the East. But my overall takeaway, Barkha, if the exit poll numbers stay true, will be that whatever losses the BJP is going to suffer in the North and the West, and mind you, this is true that the Congress is improving its tally in states like Rajasthan and Haryana. As per the exit polls, the India Alliance is putting up a fight in states like Bihar and Maharashtra. But those losses are not sufficient to account for the gains that the BJP is predicted to make in states like Odisha and West Bengal. I think those two are the big ones, because Karnataka, they are holding. In fact, they're losing some seats. Even if it's 5 seats, it's a loss. Telangana, because the number of seats is 17 and the Congress is also doing relatively better, I would say that the gains probably would be 5 to 6, let's say. But the bigger gains are coming from, roughly 20 seats are expected to come from Odisha and West Bengal themselves. Those gains themselves are kind of neutralizing the losses that the BJP is suffering at the hands of the India Alliance in states like Rajasthan, Haryana, Maharashtra, Bihar, Karnataka. And I think that this will open up new political avenues even in assembly elections going forward now. Although I think that the BJP will find it a lot more difficult in these states in the years to come. But I think that this essentially will, as I said in the very beginning, the BJP's tag of being a party of the North or the West will essentially be diluted to a large extent.
Well, here's the irony. There are assembly elections coming up later this year where the opposition actually has a pretty good chance going by the exit polls themselves. But the opposition right now is very angry. I don't know if that's strategic or felt, what's actually brewing. But Rahul Gandhi did issue a statement where he invoked a song by Sidhu Moosewala, the slain Punjab pop sensation, with a number of their own. He totally dismissed the exit polls. I'm going to play that clip for you and then look at what's been happening in the Congress and opposition circles since then. Take a look at Rahul Gandhi's comment on the exit polls.
इसका नाम एग्जिट पोल नहीं है, इसका नाम मोदी मीडिया पोल है। ये मोदी जी का पोल है, फैंटेसी पोल है उनका। सर कितनी सीटें आ रही हैं आपके हिसाब से? सिद्धू मूसेवाला का सॉन्ग सुना आपने? 295.
So very interestingly,
I'm upset that you did not play the way in which he ended that statement, and I think the swag that he displayed at the end of the statement was probably one of the funnier moments or one of the lighter moments in a supercharged election. So I'm upset at the omission of that last moment. Take it on that record, Barkha.
Okay, so now the point is, yes, did we play that statement in full or did we miss that 295 one? Did we miss that? Karthik?
I don't know. What I'm saying is, maybe I don't know, but what I was waiting for that last moment where he says, 295, and he does that. So
yeah, I thought we played it. Can we confirm if we played it or not? I think we played it. He says 295. आपने सिद्धू मूसेवाला का song सुना है या नहीं? Anyway. Okay, we played it. Now, the first comments have started coming in from our members community. Subha Vishwanathan says if the opposition had put the same effort the past year, the results would have been better with them. Instead of 2 months of effort, they gained marginally. And this is a point that, Prashant Kishore also made in his interview to me. He said that it's like Modi scoring a century with 6 dropped catches. It's poor fielding by the opposition. They lost 3 critical months when the Congress believed that they would do much better in the assembly elections on its own and therefore didn't really get the India Alliance moving. So if the results do mirror the exit polls, there are many who say, like Subha, like Prashant Kishore, that the opposition only has itself to blame, despite the spirited battle that they've put up.
I will give another analogy, which I gave on another channel last night, which is that essentially what happened with this opposition was that if an academic year runs for 12 months, for the first 11 months, not a lot was done. Mm-hmm. But in the last month or so, they studied enough to score enough marks that you said that was a good performance. But is that performance matching up with the performance of somebody who studies across 12 months or who studies probably 8 or 9 months of the year? That probably will be the missing link if that happens. And I think, again, therein lies the story that the opposition probably had an opening, especially Barkha after the Bharat Jodo Yatra last year, the Karnataka election, and then the formation of the India Alliance. I think until then, they were setting the agenda. But I think the lull that happened because of those 4-5 state elections, where I think it seems the Congress advisors thought that if they were able to win those elections, they'll be able to bargain better for the seats. I think that was a big missed opportunity. And I think that essentially it wasn't an either or question then. It should have been both. Politics is the art of multitasking. You run a digital platform. I know you do journalism, but you also do a lot of managerial stuff. So I think we've all learned how to multitask. So I think it's a very, very, how should I put it? I don't think it's a very serious argument that hum busy the us election mein. So we'll talk
Absolutely.
after this. I think if it comes to that, then probably those are the 3-4 missed months. Essentially, the missed power play overs where
Yeah.
a T20 innings picks up, and those were lost in just defending ki chalo baad mein run banayenge.
Now, one of the, to me personally, the worrying developments in the last few hours has been the kind of public statements and letters that we have seen from opposition leaders. We saw a deluge of tweets in the last few hours, in themselves fair, asking their workers to be vigilant if they see any wrongdoing to film it. But the letters kind of ask the workers to not stay at home and watch the results or coming in on platforms like ours or on television channels, but instead reach district headquarters. All Congress and opposition leaders have been asked to stay back in Delhi. Former Chief Minister Bhupesh Baghel, in a tweet, alleged malpractice, which the chief election officer in Chhattisgarh denied. Akhilesh Yadav shared video images where he raised question marks on the process. In fact, earlier this morning, there have been a handful of protests. We can play those pictures at the Congress headquarters. If we can bring up those pictures, where you can actually see a kind of familiar questions being raised around the EVM. देश का लोकतंत्र और संविधान जीतेगा या मोदी का EVM, right? These are not significant protests. Maybe it's a way of the opposition kind of keeping up the pressure, the morale of its workers, making it seem like they're still in the fight despite the exit polls that haven't gone their way. But in India, in all these decades, we have never seen election denialism. And it would be extremely tragic for our democracy if the morning ended. Whoever wins, I have no skin in the game as a journalist, as long as a hard-fought election yields the will of the people, such as it is in a parliamentary democracy, in a first-past-the-post system. I personally have no opinion, no skin in the game on who wins, who loses. But I do have skin in the game as a citizen that we should not see election denialism. Are you worried about some of the statements that you've seen from the opposition leaders?
But to be fair, Barkha, I remember 2009 when I was a college kid. That was the first election I followed. The moment the BJP lost, Mr. Advani came out and said that, EVMs is something we should talk about.
Yeah.
Mr. Narsimhan, I think, did a lot of work on that from the BJP. But anyway, so I get your concerns. I think there are two elements to it. One is the EVM argument, which I don't buy. And I think a lot of people within the Congress or Congress supporters also don't buy, because otherwise they won't be winning state elections. Simple as that.
Yeah.
I think the other one is important. I don't think that I am looking at it from a perspective of denialism. I think, given the nature of the Congress party, the Congress ka karyakarta is power hungry. Is not ideologically driven. So other the exit polls have demoralized that karyakarta. And anyway, the Congress is low on resources. So if the Congress karyakarta is demoralized ki jeetna to hai nahi, why go to the polling booth? Why, be there in numbers? Because there is a process. Even the counting process, your viewers should know, essentially has on the table the returning officer, representatives of parties. And, that whole process requires active participation from the party cadre on the ground. I actually think that by doing this, the party is trying to enthuse its card. I see nothing wrong with it. But this whole EVM drama, I don't buy that. Honestly.
And I absolutely, and nor do I. And I have to say that there are those who are critical of this government, former Chief Election Commissioner S.Y. Qureshi, who have gone on record again and again and again and again to say the EVMs cannot be manipulated. And I just think that we should, bury this debate once and for all. In fact, if I had hoped that the Supreme Court would agree on the VVPAT issue, because it would have closed this debate once and for all. You see, when you keep this lingering, there's always that some one person who will pop up and say, "Arey, per EVMs." But yes, I think you and I agree that that's absolutely ridiculous. Now, Manish Tiwari, Congress candidate from Chandigarh, former union minister, last night he had some sort of ominous sounding Winston Churchill tweet. But early this morning, I think calmness seems to have prevailed. He has issued this statement about how the results should be accepted, no matter who wins or loses. Let's play out his statement.
ऐसा है कि सूरज पूर्व से उग रहा है, पश्चिम में छिपेगा। मंगलवार का दिन है, हनुमान का दिन है। लोगों ने अपनी राय व्यक्त कर दी है। राय ईवीएम में बंद हो गई है, ईवीएम खुल जाएंगी, राय सामने आ जाएगी। जो लोगों का फैसला होगा वो सभी को आदरपूर्वक स्वीकार करना चाहिए। यही भारत के लोकतंत्र की क्षमता है।
आज भी कहेंगे सर कि कितने एनडीए को आ रही है?
देखिए ऐसा है कि अभी 6:51 हुए हैं, 1 बजे तक सब कुछ साफ हो जाएगा। तो ये जो अटकलों का बाजार है, इसमें मैं शामिल नहीं होना चाहता, क्योंकि अब लोगों ने अपनी राय व्यक्त करती है। अब जो भी फैसला होगा सामने आ जाएगा।
जो आ रहा है मीडिया में, जिस तरह से आ रहा है,
अब एग्जिट पोल्स की कितनी विश्वसनीयता रहती है वो आप मेरे से बेहतर जानते हैं।
थैंक यू।
Okay, so not very gung-ho on the exit polls, but otherwise making a perfectly reasonable statement. The people's opinion is now locked in the EVM. Give it a few hours, we'll know what people's opinion is. Now, I want to play out, Karthik, and then we can talk about it. This has also been a war of different I don't know, different kinds of panditry. So, many people quipped that is this an election battle between Prashant Kishore and Yogendra Yadav, because they had two completely different perspectives. I'm happy to say and proud to say both of them were first on the platform. So we really set the agenda with that one. I want to play out very quickly the claims made by different political pundits about who's going to win with how many seats, and we're going to remind them of what their claims were. Of course, anybody can get it wrong and get it right, so with no judgment or malice. But once we have a clearer picture, we will play this again. But for now, let's start the morning as we wait for the first lead to come in. It should come in about 5-7 minutes from now. Let's take a look at what.
Can I just interject?
Yes.
Your viewers would be wondering, a lot of channels are already showing 1 out of 543.
Surat. We should just remind people that Surat was declared because Surat was won by the BJP without a contest, because every single other contestant did not withdraw. The Congress candidate went missing at the last moment. Then he turned up with papers that were not accepted. I actually met the Surat member of parliament, and I said that, people will say that you have manipulated the electoral process. The BJP, of course, then pointed to other instances in the past where opposition leaders have also won uncontested. And in fact, but you're right, we can start showing on our screen the tally, because we do know that one is in the box of or the kitty of the NDA. So that was declared long ago. In the meantime,
I might as well just add. I think I can start with 2, because Banaras.
Yes. Okay, but one is declared. Yeah, Banaras is a given, but one is declared. Exactly. So, in fact, we can begin with some numbers on our screen. But in the meantime, what did the different pundits say? Take a look.
BJP की 303 सीट थी last time. Right?
They will improve their number.
So you don't even buy this theory कि वो 20-30 कम हो?
नहीं होंगे. They are improving their number.
Will Mr. Modi be the Prime Minister again?
उसमें मुझे कोई डाउट दिखता नहीं है.
NDA then comes to take 80 seats away. NDA is exactly 273, just at the majority mark.
BJP crossing 300 mark is a very tough task, very difficult. And BJP coming down below 250, 240 is also extremely unlikely.
The forecast is very straightforward and simple, and that is that somewhere between 330 to 350 seats is what the BJP can get on its own.
So you don't feel any political tectonic shifts?
Honestly speaking, I don't sense that, because अगर वो होता है बरखा तो टेक्टोनिक शिफ्ट आपको दिखता है.
Brand Modi is known largely as a delivery man, a man who resonates very well with the masses, a man who understands the pulse of common man, a man who works 24/7 or seen to be work 24/7 only for them, and not having family, adding value to this. So these are the phenomena which people quite often ऐसा समझते हैं कि ये हमारे घर के मुखिया हैं.
यही हमारे घर के मुखिया हैं. That is what Pradeep Gupta of Access My India says about brand Modi. Kartikeya, to make you happy, there's the first declared. This is, by the way, a declared, not even a lead. It's a declared win for the NDA, but it was declared long ago. The seat of Surat in Gujarat. The first lead should come now in just about 5 minutes. In the meantime, there's just one other clip that I want to play for you, and we can talk about it. Tamil Nadu. In Tamil Nadu, you've had a couple of exit polls talking about the possibility. Now, the BJP has won seats from here before, Kanyakumari, Coimbatore, so it won't strictly be opening its account, Kartike. But under Annamalai, the new high-profile BJP chief, there was a sense that could there be something different. Now, when I was interviewing Annamalai on the campaign trail, I asked him, I said, what would constitute success for you? And I want to, what would you say is a good result? And it's very interesting, his answer. I want to play that out quickly for you because the leads are going to start coming in any moment now. But we'll talk a little bit about Modi's Mission South right after this Annamalai clip.
What result will satisfy you and you will consider it a success?
For me, BJP has to cross 20% alone and we have to reach somewhere near 25%. That is a test for us as a party. The NDA has to cross 35%. And a lot of people outside will say, oh, the party was here, now suddenly big number. Yeah. And of course, our goals are slightly big. We are audacious. We are working hard. And that will satisfy us because that is a step one in 2024.
So one of the interesting things is that he said that 18% vote share, 18%, I beg your pardon, 80% vote share is the exit poll projection. He told me he'd be happy if they get 20% vote share. Right? So he wasn't evaluating it in terms of seats. What do you make of that?
No, of course, Barkha. I mean, different states, the BJP is placed differently, right? So for different states, they'll have different benchmarks. I think Tamil Nadu is a state where I would say that BJP has won seats in the past. Your viewers should go back and they'll find that, in the 90s, the BJP did win seats like Kanyakumari, even Coimbatore. In Kerala, it's different because in Kerala, the BJP has never won a Lok Sabha seat. So I think that in Tamil Nadu, if the vote share goes up, that's a handsome performance. As per the BJP, I am not surprised by that assumption, but my sense is that if their vote share goes up enough, maybe in a couple of seats, they'll be in the fight. And, Coimbatore is one of those seats. In one of the seats, they're actually supporting an independent candidate who's the former Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, Mr. O. Paneerselvam. Mm-hmm. In Thani, they are supporting TTV Dinakaran's party. I think he's standing himself, if I'm not wrong. I may be wrong. But Kerala is different. Kerala, they've never won a Lok Sabha seat. So for them to win a seat in Kerala would be huge. And there again, there are some green shoots, but we can come to that later. But I think Tamil Nadu is a state where the BJP understands that the AIADMK is not going to get any better in the near future. That's what they are sort of positing at this point. And 2 years from now, we have a crucial assembly election there, which if things stand as they are, the DMK might win again. Because the AIADMK does not seem to have the capacity right now to beat the DMK. I mean, it's a much weakened force. Because we know that Ms. Jayalalitha passed away, then the Shashikala re-entry did not pan out the way it had to be. There was a split between EPS and OPS. They lost 21 elections. They were hammered in 2019 in the Lok Sabha election, despite EPS being the chief minister at that point in time. So the BJP is trying to occupy that space, which has been ceded by the AIADMK. What will be interesting to see is after these results, if the BJP does well enough, do they go ahead alone in the assembly elections or do they go back and tie up with the AIADMK?
Yeah. I got distracted briefly only because I turned to the clock and it's 7:56. And in 4 minutes, we should have the first lead. Once again, if you're wondering how our numbers give one to the NDA, it's because the victory in Surat was declared for the BJP. It won that seat in Gujarat, absolutely uncontested. And therefore, that victory is a given. Of course, there are many others we could guess about or forecast, but we're going to choose to go by the numbers as they come in. So, as I said, there is going to be 4 more minutes to the first lead. Kartike, when do you think we might have a clear picture, or we simply don't know? It depends on how people have voted.
Exactly. I think that if exit polls are something to go by, then it's khatakat one way.
This khatakat has become a big talking point in this election.
But it's not the khatakat that the Congress was hoping for. If the exit polls are numbers to go by. Yeah. But I think if I think honestly, Barkha, we always knew that NDA would be forming the government. The question was, can you deny the BJP 272?
Yeah.
And the other secondary question, which was kind of linked to this one, was, can the Congress be in that 90 to 100 range? Or can it cross 100 better still? So I think if those two benchmarks are tested, then we might be in for a very interesting day. But I think largely we know that the NDA will come to power. Largely. I mean, it's not just the exit polls, but we get the sense. If you look at the data, talk to people, and just if you are political observers, you get the sense of what's happening. The question is the 272 for the BJP and the 90 to 100 for the Congress. And if that happens, then I think we might have an interesting day. But if that does not happen, if say
we are going to have an interesting day, nevertheless. Good morning, Dr. I just want to hang on. I want to welcome our first guest on the program. Good morning, Dr. Tayal. Dr. Tayal is a senior leader of the BJP. He's from Punjab, where there are very, very interesting projections by the exit polls for his state. And of course, nationally, Dr. Tayal, Kartike Batra just said that the NDA third term, nobody, well, not nobody, the opposition doubted it, but very few other people doubted it. But ab sab khel jo hai, wo scale ka hai. How are you looking at it? How important is the scale of projected victory going to be? First, let's talk nationally, and then we'll talk about your home state.
So, thank you, Barkha. It's a pleasure being here. And particularly where I am, it's a very bright morning.
In you're in Chandigarh, right? You're in Chandigarh.
So till yesterday it was a hot morning, but suddenly today I'm seeing it as a bright morning.
Okay.
So and I think that is going to be the I agree with Kartike that that is going to be the mood today. That we're going to see some very good numbers. So no doubt on that at all. Anybody who has had any doubt about it, or was possibly, in my opinion, was actually there was a compulsion for him to express a doubt rather than actually having the doubt within, and which happens in politics. I mean, you're supposed to say what you're supposed to say, so they had to say what they had to say.
Are you concerned that with the kind of statements that we've seen from the opposition in the last few hours about be vigilant, film everything, Mr. Kharge writing to the bureaucracy, show a spine, don't act with fear or favor? It's quite unusual. I don't remember previous elections where this has happened, but the argument has been made that the Election Commission has not played the job of a neutral umpire. That's what the opposition has been saying.
Completely. In fact, you had also tweeted about this. This is something very, very unusual in the Indian democracy, because that is what we take pride in. And I mean, if yesterday, while addressing the nation, the Election Commission said that we take pride in the fact that we've made a world record with 642 million, then that is something to be proud of. And whatever have been the results, I mean, we've not been one of those democracies where the results have, determined what the reactions would be. So it has always been whatever one may have been saying prior to the final result. Every party, every person, every individual has welcomed the results as the mandate of the people. And, those who've lost have also said, yes, better luck next time. We'll go back to the drawing board and see where we went wrong and come back. But this time it is different because there seems to be something delusional, honestly. So, for example, the gentleman in the Samajwadi Party candidate in Balia, going out and saying that if the
I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but Mahurat ki baat hai, the first lead is here. I'm a little superstitious ki first lead ke saath hi shuruaat honi chahiye. It goes in favor of your party, not surprisingly coming from Gujarat, the BJP's. This is officially the first. So we have one victory for the BJP in Surat declared earlier, and we have one lead coming in favor of the BJP in Gujarat. I'm also taking this occasion to welcome my friend and veteran journalist from Telangana, Shriram Kari. Dr. Tayal, go ahead and complete your point. You were talking about the opposition's quote-unquote delusions. Go ahead.
Yeah, so the candidate from Balia going right out and saying that, using a euphemism by saying if the process is not fair, but ultimately intending that if the result doesn't come in my favor, ya to meri lash jayegi ya DM ki lash jayegi. I mean, that is not the sort of thing that one is used to hearing. very, very unusual and all over the place. It's kind of everybody, the entire media is agog with this, that what is going on, and somewhere the opposition has determined that we are going to create a chaos in the country, which is very, very unfortunate. All that they needed to do was get back to the drawing board and see where they went wrong.
Okay, let's bring in Sriram Kari. We'll have Congress leaders joining us shortly in this hour itself. Sriram, the last time I asked you, I began by asking you, what's the picture in Telangana? And you snarled at me and said, do you think I only know about Telangana? So let me first ask you for your perspective on the national situation, and then we'll come to Telangana. Sriram Kari, good morning.
Good morning, Barkha. Good morning, everybody. I'll extend the points all of you have made. Let's appreciate for 60 seconds what is today. For bulk of human history, power has shifted from one king to the other, one dynasty to the other, in a violent war or internal feud and death and killings. The beauty of democracy is not about elections alone. It's what is called peaceful transfer of power. With the sole exception of Trump's defeat last time, you saw America as a model example of democracy because of the very respectable transfer of power. I think India has been amongst the great democracies of the world. We may criticize a lot of things, but imagine for a second if there was
sorry, I'm so sorry. Kartike has some leads. I'm going to be interrupting all of you. You'll have to forgive me for it because we have to keep an eye on the numbers. Dr. Shama Mohammed is with us. Good morning. Kartike, very quickly, I'll let Sriram finish his point right after that.
Sorry, Sriram. Numbers beyond Surat started coming in. So the first 5 leads are all for the BJP. This, of course, includes, for the NDA rather. This, of course, includes the Surat number. And UP, I'm seeing 2 leads going to the NDA. It's 6 now, so 6 NDA, and 1 is coming from Gujarat, and some are coming from UP. This is changing. So, Barkha, I just wanted to do that. In Hindi we call boni kar diya humne abhi. Now you continue, and we'll continue updating the numbers.
Okay, we have 7 leads for the NDA to 3 for India. This is going to change a lot, up and down. Postal ballots are being counted. Also, the opposition made a big case for that before the Election Commission. Sriram, before I get Shama Mohammed in, do complete your point about the historicity of this moment and the importance of the peaceful transition of power from one elected government to the next, whoever that government may be, or whichever that government may be.
Barkha, in the last 25 odd years plus that I've watched elections, I feel one of the most beautiful things about our election results day is the concession speech by the party that loses and wishes the victor all the best. You look at the speech when Obama won, the speech of concession was the greatest speech made that day. I remember 2009, for example, Sushma Swaraj's speech conceding to Congress. These are beautiful moments of democracy. I think no political party should. Yes, there was a lot of animosity. There's a lot we may find is. Second thing, this questioning election commission. We keep asking, what is it India is the best in the world? I think in terms of conducting extraordinary scale of elections, largely fair. I think election commission and all the people involved should be saluted before we get going. Yes, the postal ballots are beginning to trickle in.
Yeah,
we have a heady day, but whoever wins, democracy is already won, according to me.
That's a very Ravi Shastri line, right?
Exactly.
कोई भी जीता ये तो cricket की victory.
Jinx, this is jinx. I was about to say that this is Ravi Shastri.
Oh, please! What did I do to deserve that? But well, it's democracy.
Okay, welcome to the program, Dr. Shama Mohammed. Good morning to you. Dr. Tayal here of the BJP was just saying that some of the comments from the opposition have been, he called them delusional. Why is the Congress and other opposition parties already making some sort of noise about a kind of protest noise before the results are out? I understand that you don't agree with the exit polls, but why is there this open letter to the bureaucracy, open letter to the workers to reach district headquarters? This has never happened before.
Okay, so there are a lot of things which have never happened before. Now, the person before me said, I don't know who that gentleman is, he said, in laws, you should be as gracious as Obama and Sushma Swaraj when there are, of course, free and fair elections. We have seen the conduct of the Election Commission of India. The model code of conduct has been violated numerous times We all know that a 7-bench judgment in 2017, Chief Justice Thakur was there at that point of time, said that keeping Representation of People's Act 123, Clause 3, one cannot ask for votes based on religion, caste, creed, community, whatever. Now, what was Mr. Modi doing this time? He has violated the Model Code of Conduct numerous times. He's called me a Guspetia. He says they will come in, the Guspetias, they will take away your aapka sampat leke. The Congress party is going to go and give it to the Hindu. They'll take it from the Hindus and give it to the Muslims. Aapka Mangal Sutra chinenge, aapka Gaay chinenge, Bears chinenge. So, I mean, numerous. I have few of them. Then if the Congress party comes back to power, there will be a lock on the Ram Mandir. So these are things, see, here we 5 people are sitting. When the Prime Minister speaks, what happens at that point of time? People like you and me think, all right, prachar ke liye, for campaigning he's doing to winning election. But the common man out there thinks, you know what? The Prime Minister of India is saying this. So definitely the Muslims are the villains. You are creating animosity amongst your people. You're creating a kind of hatred. And why didn't the EC not take action? The EC should have taken, they have banned, I remember Randeep Surjewala for 2 days. The Chandrasekhar Rao was taken off for 2 days. So why not on Mr. Modi? Why is Mr. Modi above everything? Now, he could have gone for his meditation after first evening of the first. Why was he allowed to do it on the 30th? And why live broadcast? You can go and meditate. Why are you influencing voters?
All I'm saying, Shama,
So we do not trust the Election Commission. I do not trust the Election Commission of India. The Election Commission of India was supposed to be selected by the Chief Justice, by the Leader of Opposition and the Prime Minister of India. They got in a bill in November and changed that and saying that, you know what, there will be no Chief Justice but a cabinet minister. So it says 2:1. Every attempt to subvert democracy has been done this time. Every attempt to subvert democracy. And we have seen after 2014, they keep
I want to ask you something. You just said you do not trust the Election Commission, right? I think you can have disagreements with the Election Commission, but that has nothing to do with the will of the people, right? The will of the, you can say the EC could have intervened here. The EC could have, 1 minute. I want to ask you a direct question. If in the next 3 hours, the results mirror the exit polls, I'm not talking about the scale. If the NDA is back in power, Prime Minister Modi is back in power for a 3rd term, will you, as a high-profile, well-regarded leader of the Congress party, accept the verdict, or you will question it?
I will always accept the verdict of the people. We have never been the right causers in this country. We know who incites riots in this country. Now,
will you accept it? Will you accept the verdict?
I've always said I accept, but let me look at the discrepancies. Now, you said it's the mandate of the people. How many people have told that our names are not there on the voter ID? We have seen videos from UP where police are not allowing voters to vote. I mean, various things all over the country, which has never happened in the history of this country. My question is, if Mr. Modi or the Bharatiya Janata Party wants to go into a war or go into an election, let it be free and fair. Why is there subversion of democracy at every angle? Why is the Election Commission supporting the party in power, which has never happened? And also Mr. Qureshi's question, listen, for example, the first phase, after 11 days, we come to know the voter percentage. Why? They come to know at night itself how many people have voted in each booth, isn't it? That comes out at that particular night. Give it out the next day. Why is there discrepancy? Then they say it is 63%. It goes up to 65%. In Odisha, there's a change of 4 lakh votes. What is happening, Barkha? This is not my country. I want free and fair election. That is my issue. Why?
Okay. You just said that you will accept the verdict, but all of the anger that you feel makes me wonder what the Congress party will say if the results don't go the way that they have expected. Before I get in, Rahul Ishwar, I know Dhirendra Tyal also wants to respond. Leads are really coming in very quickly. Karthikeya, quick overview on the number. Good morning, Rahul. We'll come to you in a moment. Karthikeya, just take us through what we know so far.
I think 14 to 13 in NDA to India. So I think Dr. Mohammed, there is reasons to be optimistic. But again, I must add that these are very early days. And I think every election, I have to say this as a record, that these are postal ballots mostly, although there was a controversy this time around. But these are still postal ballots. and leads come from all states. Uttar Pradesh is 4-2 in favor of NDA. We have leads from Bihar, Tamil Nadu, India is leading on 1. Karnataka Congress is leading on 1. Maharashtra, India 3, NDA 1. Madhya Pradesh, BJP 2, India 0. Gujarat, BJP 2, Congress 0. Rajasthan, BJP 2, Congress 0. So essentially, we have leads coming in now from more or less all states. In Bengal, the first lead, Barkha, surprisingly, has come from the Congress plus Left Alliance. So, could that be the harbinger of some hope for the India Alliance?
Well, that is the contradiction, Shama. Just imagine if the result goes better than the exit polls have projected for you. Will you still be so angry with the election commission?
At this point, India is 19 to NDA is 14.
India Bloc has taken a lead. Kangana Ranaut is trailing, but once again, it is early days. It's early minutes. But right now, in the early counting, the India Bloc is ahead of the NDA. That takes me to my question to Dr. Shama Mohammed. You had such an angry sort of response of the election commission. If the results go better for you than expected, will you still be calling this process flawed? Will you still be saying it's not free and fair? Or is it free and fair only if you do well?
No, it's not that. It is that what I'm seeing on the ground. Now, they came out and said, in Kerala, 26% voter percentage of Bharatiya Janata Party. I'm from Kerala. That's impossible. That's a lie. And then they say 13 to 15 seats for BJP in Tamil Nadu when we are fighting only 9. For Congress, in Tamil Nadu, and we are fighting 9 seats. So there's so much of discrepancy. If you go to UP, you have traveled a lot. What is the ground report? Not more than 50 for the Bharatiya Janata Party or 45. Now, from where are you getting these numbers is what we also are at the ground, no? Either the people are, en masse lying to you. What is it? No, what I'm trying to say is the people of India, I have huge respect for. I know the people of India, they're going through very difficult times. So we believe in the people of India, but definitely the election commission this time sided on one party. We all know that, and I'm not going to let them go.
I must allow the others to respond, but we are getting leads of high-profile candidates. Bansuri Swaraj there, the daughter of Sushma Swaraj, leading in her seat in Delhi. Kangana Ranaut trailing. Once again, there are going to be health warnings from us for the next 2 to 3 hours. These are leads. Numbers change with every round of counting. Dharinder Tayal, before I get in Rahul Ishwar and Sriram Kari, if you wanted to respond to Dr. Shama Mohammed, Dr. Tayal of the BJP. Can we unmute Dr. Tayal, please?
I think Dr. Shama did not realize that the conversing time is over. Today we are counting votes. So she's still continuing in the same mode. Where she says that, we know who instigates riots. 1984, we haven't forgotten. So let us not get into, in the last 10 years, the riots have been the minimum. So anyway, let me not get there because we're not conversing at this moment. The basic issue which I want to make is when I said the Congress is delusional now, it is really psychological. There are delusions of persecution. The election EVMs are bad. The makers of EVM, Bell is bad. Election Commission is bad. The DMs are bad. The police is bad. The psephologists are bad. The media is bad. Eurasia is also bad. Everybody barring the India Alliance is bad, is sold out already. Watch out, Barkha. So, so that is, that's a height of delusion. You're denying everything. There are I don't know how many lakh EVMs. The courts have said 5% of them you can have verified. There is no issue. And there is a gentleman sitting in Delhi, जिनका आभूषण ही ये है कि वो रोज एक केस डालते हैं कि जी ये हो गया वो उनका आभूषण है. So I'm not naming the gentleman. So so every day he's filing a case. You've gone to the court for everything under the sun, and you've got reprimanded by court and been booted out. Now the only place left is where at least they say they have the respect is for the courts. So at least you've gone there for everything. Then now don't cry. I'll tell you where the problem lies. The fundamental problem is, and this is really very, very basic, is that in all these decades of independence, we have not heard the term pro-incumbency. It has always been anti-incumbency. Whereas, why not pro-incumbency? The only reason not pro-incumbency is because the legacy of the British, which was to exploit, once you are in power, go ahead and exploit, which the Congress got. So they were exploiting. and they were ready for it. Okay, we've exploited 5 years, we'll sit out for 5 years, call it anti-incumbency. Call it anti-incumbency.
Okay, let me come in before this early hour. 1 minute, sir. I have to interrupt for the numbers. You and the Congress can keep arguing. Karthik, we have the India Alliance ahead in 41 seats and the NDA in 23. That's the latest number we have. Karthik, go ahead. Go ahead.
It's 41 to India, 23 to NDA at this point. Again,
yes.
very early days.
Yes.
Can I tell you, UP, Bihar, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, India is leading in all these states. These are 4 big states. And in all 4 states right now, India is leading. But again, very early days. But, at least this is sufficient to probably enthuse the cadre who are sitting at the polling stations. So this is not a bad start for the India Alliance. Of course, these are postal ballots. Not much should be read. But if they had to have a start, they would prefer this one over anything else.
Okay, I want to bring in quickly, Dr. Tyal, Dr. Mohammed, please hold your horses. Let's bring in comments because the numbers are changing very, very quickly. We have the India Alliance leading in 41 to the NDA in 23. And Karthike mentioned that these states include the states of Uttar Pradesh and Maharashtra. You have Rahul Gandhi leading in Raebareli, Akhilesh Yadav leading in Kannauj, Supriya Sule leading in Baramati,
Rahul Gandhi is ahead from both his seats actually at this point.
Wayanad and Raebareli. There you see that on your screen. Rahul Ishwar, quick comment, and then Sriram, quick comment.
With due respect, I think Shamaji is more like the Amitabh Bachchan of the 1970s and 80s. Very educated.
Well, Shama is going to take that as a compliment.
Yeah, I think I should. I know I really like her and respect her. She knows it. But no, just one submission. See, just imagine. Let us imagine that EVMs can be rigged. See, if EVMs can be rigged, will Modi ji allow a 67-3 for AAP in 2015? Or recently, Sri D.K. Shivakumar under his and Siddaramaia's leadership, Congress nearly won 136 in Karnataka. So the election denialism is one thing, and I think India's greatest aspect is all the parties in our history, without major exceptions, have conceded elections, unlike the Trumps of the US. So I think we should trust the process. If we have any doubts, we can definitely raise. And I agree partially with Shamaji when they say the election polls project somewhere around 27% for BJP in Kerala. Even BJP workers down the ground won't believe that, because from 15 to 27 is a huge jump. But these can be genuine mistakes or genuine miscalculations. We should also give a room for that. Sometimes people call elections in a wrong way. The sample size of the entire India will be less than the votes of one single constituency, because maximum sample you take is around 5 lakh or 6 lakh or say maximum 7 lakhs. In one good constituency, for example, Trivandrum, you will have more than 5 lakh voters or nearly 6 lakh voters. So it can be genuine miscalculations. It can be genuine misreadings. So everything is not a grand conspiracy. Everything is not out to get. So yes, the opposition should have an adversarial role towards the establishment. They should question, they should check. But at the end of the day, since there is nothing else to prove, I think we should be humble enough. Whosoever wins, we should be humble enough to accept. For example, many psephologists said, in Kerala, BJP may win 4 seats. Even BJP doesn't have that assessment in Kerala that they are going to win 4 seats. So, these can be some kind of a miscalculation or some kind of a genuine misunderstanding. This has happened many times. For 2000, we have seen the India Shining campaign. We have seen last West Bengal elections being called wrong. Many people overestimating BJP seats by nearly 70 or 80 seats. And saying that they are very close. So it can genuinely happen. Maybe there is a tyranny of distance. Maybe the urban voters, they are more centric on. Maybe BJP is as a urban centric, more of an urban centric party, yet to penetrate the villages. So there can be many issues. But I think whosoever wins, Modi ji is, everyone knows Modi ji is having a lead, at least a pole position in this place. He is a very strong leader. He is a person who can galvanize his cadre in a better way. So let us take all the results. Whatever happens, we should accept it with grace and don't question the process, because when you are questioning the process, you are questioning the largest elections in human history. You are questioning nearly 65 crore people who have taken out a day, gone to exercise their right. So I think we should be respecting the process, and we should be questioning the policy, self-questioning and self-critical, rather than being critical of election commission.
Okay, Karthike, a quick update from you on numbers, and then Sriram. Karthike, go ahead.
So the turnaround has happened. It's now NDA 59 to India's 50. As I've been saying, these numbers are very material.
Okay, we need to update our slides. If we can just update it. Yes, it's 57 to 50. Yes.
59 to 50 now, in fact, for the NDA. And, I think leads are coming in thick and fast. Uttar Pradesh is now tied. Bihar, India still leading. Bengal, BJP doing well now. Karnataka, BJP with 5, Congress with 2. Jammu Kashmir, BJP with 2, the India Alliance with 2, Delhi, BJP with 2, India Alliance with 2. So it's moving thick and fast, but now the NDA, I think for the first time, now it's 64 to 53, in fact, as we speak. So now I think the NDA for the first time in the last 22 minutes or so, it seems to be comfortably ahead of the India Alliance. Madhya Pradesh, yeah. Maharashtra India Alliance is still leading 7-3. Tamil Nadu India Alliance is leading 5-2. Mr. Modi is ahead. Mr. Rajnath Singh is ahead. Mr. Gadkari is ahead. Congress doing well in seats like Shimla, Sirsa, Sonipat. So the Himachal and Haryana belt. In Bihar, the India Alliance is at 8, NDA 6. Uttar Pradesh, we now have 28 leads. NDA on 15, India on 12. And that's more or less the story. And now Barkha suddenly, it has jumped to 95 to India.
Yeah, I just want to jump in here and say, we need to update this graphic. The latest numbers are on our screen. We do have the NDA leading in 95 to the India
54.
Alliance in 54. Okay, do go ahead, Sriram. You've been wanting to speak. Sriram, in the beginning, it looked like the India Alliance was actually ahead, but postal ballots were being counted that were going in favor of the India Alliance. But yet, nothing is over, nothing is done, but the NDA has taken a 115-seat lead over the India Alliance in 57. Sriram Kari, do go ahead.
Thank you. If you see the outliers, interestingly, Congress ahead in Ladakh. It's also ahead in 1 seat in Gujarat. So it's very interesting that postal ballots, while they're very small, they're actually votes by security personnel, employees of the Election Commission, government employees, and those who are likely to be deployed on duty today. So these are the people, during the election, they're in duty and therefore can't vote. So they get to vote. And of course, we now have this senior citizens, very senior citizens get to vote. So it's an interesting slice of vote, gives you a different perspective across. But Barkha, I will go back to the point I said that whatever political parties might say about the fairness or the standard and conduct of Election Commission, and their complaints might be genuine, maybe they're part of the heat, but we must all as Indians reflect somewhere, and it's not a cliche or something, that the elections India has conducted for 75 years, the size, the scale, the diversity, let us appreciate 90% of the people who are counting votes today, they're not even full-time government employees of the Election Commission. They are teachers, these people who come in and do a great job. So let us appreciate what we do really well. I think it's one thing. Switzerland is proud of its watches, or Turkey is proud of its towels. I think India should say our elections are unbelievable. And yes, our democracy, you may raise questions. The very fact that we are contesting everything itself is a good sign that we are doing well. That's about what I'd like to say, Barkha.
Okay, Karthikeya, quick.
I think just Tamil Nadu, very interesting. We have 9 leads. I think it's neck and neck between NDA and India. So fascinating. But Bihar, UP and West Bengal right now neck and neck. In MP and Gujarat, the BJP is racing ahead of the Congress. In fact, things have changed in Bihar dramatically now. NDA 9, India 2. So things are moving very fast. Tamil Nadu now 12 leads, all 12 going to the India. Now this is 127 to 67 as the banner is showing. Gujarat, all 14 leads to the BJP. Madhya Pradesh, 22 or 23 leads to the BJP. This is expected. Bengal, BJP with 11 leads, TMC 7 and Congress Plus with 1 lead. So things are moving really fast at this point in time, as expected.